Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Friends. I'm Meredith, and if you've been watching over the years, or even if you haven't, I maybe you know that we're really focusing on people that we feel are change makers, people that are trying to bring goodness to society and bring optimism, even when things don't seem so optimistic. And I've been amazed to see over the years, and you've probably heard me say this before, there is like there's wealth of knowledge, but a wealth of people. It's like amazing to me, how many people really do care about positive, constructive change in the world. And you're about to meet one who is she's not just doing it, but she's being recognized for the amazing, very unusual projects that she's involved with. So meet Antonia Wright. Antonia is she's a photographer, an artist, a journalist, a mix of all kinds of backgrounds and talents and everything. And she was just recently showcased with the Knight Foundation. I don't know if you've heard about it. It did make the news a lot with the Knight Foundation for a very, very special award. And it has to do with art and technology, but it's much more than that. It's not just about creating more products that we need. It's about creating change. And Antonia, I'm thrilled to get to meet you. When I started reading about you, and then we had a couple of conversations and we got to meet, I said, I feel that's what the world needs now, people like you. Really. So I'm just wondering, how did you develop this? And then I'll talk about the Knight Foundation. Yeah, and what you're doing with it and everything. How did you come to this idea that your work could be used for social change and really kind of making an impact, on communities or even the world, right? You never know.
Yeah, I guess it's an evolution. First, I want to say hi. Thank you so much
Hi.
for having me. It's
Yeah.
really special to be with you. Um, I think it's just an evolution. It's not like I can't say it was so like I want my art to do this. It was more just like these are issues that I deeply care about and I just follow them. And then I think they have sort of connected with people in different ways. And that
Mm.
somehow I have shown them in ways that are maybe more unconventional than like a traditional museum space.
Not traditional at all. We're going to see some
Yeah,
kind of wild photos, aren't we? But
yeah.
amazing. They make a point. Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of had this idea. Would you say it started as childhood? You actually began as a writer. You weren't an artist, but well, a writer is an artist, but
hmm
it's not a traditional artist. And is that when you began to feel that maybe whatever you do could send out a message of optimism or social change or something like that?
I think they're always together. Like the work always seems to react deeply to what's going on. And
Yeah.
I'm like have, an empathetic soul like a lot of us do. And I think I'll just read about something. And if it feels like unjust or it just calls me, then impulsive, just instinctively, I'll just make something about it. And then somehow, it's in a partnership with the sh shelter for women and children, or it's helping Planned Parenthood or, it's doing different things in different ways and sort of works at the same time, I would say. Like reading the news and then fiercely feeling and then making something and then finding that there's a lot of people who fiercely feel about it also and it connects with them and it sort of works like that, I would say, altogether.
Wow. So it's I guess we could say it's very organic. You have this idea and this feeling. It's coming from within you, right? And from there, the ideas just come because you have so many ideas. And I wanted to just show a few so that people can get
Mhm.
an idea of what you're all about. And again, you've received this very, very prestigious award. You even got a bit of money. I don't know if you'd like to share how much you were given, but you don't have to. So we're going to start. We're going to see you in action doing your art. So tell us about it as we go.
Okay.
Yeah. What was this? It's you.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is just a portrait of myself.
Oh, okay.
Somebody just took this picture of me. And it was one of these pictures was actually, yeah, in the Miami New Times. That
Ah,
was for an award that they had given me at the time.
wow, wow. This is the scary one, but you are the brave one, right?
This is a performance I did where I covered myself with bees while doing Tai Chi.
Hmm.
And it was just this idea that I got. I was putting honey in some tea and I was watching the news and it said that we were going to war again. And I
Mm.
thought, why do we always have to go to war? Why is our response always so aggressive and so violent? Aren't there other ways of communicating or negotiating?
Mm.
And then it just came to me. I was like, I should do Tai Chi covered in bees because, Tai Chi is a martial art. It can be lethal, but it's also very good for our mind and our body as like a spiritual practice. But then
I
also,
did it for many years, actually, until they moved away from my neighborhood, right? So I know I did. I
yeah,
know.
but it has these dualities to it actually. And
Right. Yeah.
bees can also be lethal, but then they're incredibly good for our planet. Like 1 out of every 3 bites of food we eat are because of bees.
Mm.
And at the time when I made this, also the bees were suffering colony collapse disorder, and there was a real issue with the bees. And so I had this idea to couple these things that had these dualities of violence, but also peace, to show, that they're just because we can be aggressive doesn't mean we always should be.
Mm. Well, I mean, this to me makes a statement, but I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at you and I'm saying, wasn't that frightening? I don't really understand. They didn't bother you or do anything, or how did that work?
I had this, so how a lot of the projects work is I'll just come up with these ideas and
Yeah.
then oftentimes in like meditation or something along those lines. And then I'll have to learn everything I need to do to figure it out. So at the time, I didn't know Tai Chi. I really didn't know that much about the bees, other than a couple of things that, like what was being talked about. And so it took me about 2 years to figure out how to make this. I had to learn Tai Chi, befriend all these beekeepers, and I still had the fear. And I kept talking to a lot of spiritual people, and I was like, how do I actually overcome this fear? Because you can't do Tai Chi like very rigidly, like that's not how it's supposed to work. And also the bees can sense that you're afraid too. So I couldn't fake it. Like I really had to be at this place where I was very calm. And at one point I met with people who like really transcend the body, like they walk on fire, they put needles through their hands. I read a lot about the mystics, and they were teaching me that, everybody feels fear. Everybody,
Mhm.
it's how you interpret it. And they gave me this analogy of like somebody on a roller coaster and
Yeah.
how there can be two people on a roller coaster. One person who's petrified and hates it, and one person who's so excited and loves the experience. So they were like, you have to get to this place where you're so excited to do this, that you feel lucky to be able to do this, that this is like something you really want to do. And so then I read everything I could about the bees so that by the time they put them on me, I just remember looking at them and being like, they're so beautiful. These are the most incredible animals. And like, I had to just overcome the fear. And that was one way that I really did it.
God, that must have been life changing, because once you mastered this, maybe we all need to do something like this, you know? I mean, I get scared when I get on I-95 sometimes, at night.
Oh,
The cars are just going so fast and I feel like I'm going to be hit. So, I mean, maybe
yeah.
we all have fears and we never know when it's going to happen, do we? When we're going to suddenly be afraid of something that we never were afraid of. And do you feel in a way you have that now, this within you? And so the next time something scares you, you're able to just brush it off?
Yes, yes and no. I mean, I-95, I think, is a justifiable fear.
Okay, I won't feel silly
I think I have
about being
that's a
honest.
justifiable fear.
Yeah.
That's like surreal that we do that
Yeah.
often. But I think it's more like challenging things, that we think are hard, that we can flip our perspective on. And
You had said, oh, look at this. Look at this. Nice.
this
Here
is
you are. You don't look afraid there at all, right?
Mm-mm.
No. Oh, wait, we also want to mention, did you say that you did go to India as a result too?
Oh, I ended up going
Yeah,
to India. Yeah, I've yeah, stayed at an ashram for a long time and really deepened my meditation practice to be able to do that project with the bees.
beautiful. Well, we can talk about the meditation after. I mean, in a few minutes, I want to hear about this. This is a beautiful picture of you.
Well, thank you. This was a portrait. I didn't take this picture.
Yeah.
Again, part of that article.
Uh-huh. Yeah. What I liked reading about with the Knight Foundation, where you got this, like I said, extremely prestigious award, probably out of, I don't know, hundreds or maybe thousands of people. Did you have to apply for it,
I was
or they just picked you?
nominated
Yeah.
to apply,
Yeah.
and then I did apply. Hmm.
Yeah. They said that it's not necessarily just looking for people who are savvy with all kinds of new equipment and tools and all of this, which is what the world seems to be so caught up in, right? Just more gadgets and more gadgets. They said it's more about visionary thinking. They're looking for the visionary thinkers, the artists who are visionary thinkers. And so
That's
that must have made you feel very, very good because you were already doing this, you were already on this. Did you feel alone in a way as an artist at any time where you just felt that people weren't necessarily getting what you were putting out or
well,
not? Maybe not. You didn't
well,
get
I
me.
think you have to kind of like being alone sometimes. Like I love coming to my studio and being the only one in here.
Uh-huh.
And, I can just do anything I want in this kind of space that I have. But um, yeah, I mean, I think for me, I started making art as a response to sometimes feeling lonely. But then nowadays, I never feel lonely. I never am bored. There's always so much I find
Mhm.
I can do. But yeah, that award was really interesting because it was for art and tech. But then like you said, I started by being a poet. And so it was like wonderfully surprising to me to think that, you can start out in one place and then
Mhm.
evolve just by following ideas over and over again for years and years and years and end up learning all these skills that somehow put you in this category of technology. Like it's really unbelievable.
You really are in this category of technology. You use a lot of technology in your work, don't you? And
I
uh,
do, yeah. I learn now kind of anything I need to figure out to make the idea. Like, so I think that one of the reasons that I won that Art and Tech Award was because I learned how to code for a project that I was working
mhm,
on. And when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, I
mhm,
was on the board of Planned Parenthood at the time, and I started to think like, well, what does overturning Roe v. Wade mean? It doesn't mean it makes abortion go away. It just makes it harder to access. So
mhm,
at the time, I then started compiling data for how far people traveled before Roe and how far people traveled after Roe. And I put all of that data into this algorithm. And then I connected all of it to sounds. Oh, I'm so sorry. And
mhm,
so how the whole piece was called a data sonification. So I'm sonifying this data. So I partnered with a midwife and she
mhm.
collected the sounds of her patients in childbirth for over a year. And she would email me all the audio of like her patients, in full childbirth. And then I would take all those sounds and edit them. And what I
Yeah.
basically did is like if you like in Florida, we could travel 13 miles before Roe to get an abortion, and now that number is 583 miles, which is North
Mhm,
Carolina. And so I kind of graded the sounds that she sent me, like, softer sounds people make, just breathing sounds in childbirth, to like the full guttural sound that somebody makes. And then how the composition worked was if it was a shorter distance, it would get a softer sound. And if it was a farther distance, it would be a more intense sound. And then once I turned the algorithm on, it just started selecting this mileage points and triggering these sounds. So if it was like, so you walked into this room, the Pam actually bought this artwork.
They did. Oh, is that what you had a show? Not a show, but some of your art is seen at PAM, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they exhibited this piece
Yeah.
last year at the museum. So you walked into this dark room and it was quadraphonic sound, four speakers, very dark, and it was just the sounds of 100 different women in childbirth. and they were from lower to high. So the way it worked is if it was a softer sound, that meant that it was a shorter distance. And if it was like a full-on scream, that meant somebody had to travel very far distances to get care. So that was like an example of why I think I won this art and
Eh,
tech award, but I didn't know how to code. I just had this idea of making a composition with the sounds of women in childbirth, and then I had to work backward and figure out how to do it.
Wow, that's quite a, I don't know, story. It really is, you know? I mean, how you took it from one point to another, and you're always in process. And I did read that you said your whole way of living or working is that you push and you push, you know? You're not a person that just tries something once. You have this drive, don't you? Like a
I do.
drive to keep going until
Yeah.
you really are sure you don't need to go anymore.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just the ideas, like they kind of keep me up at night, and
Yeah.
so
Uh-huh.
then I just keep following them. And sometimes I just, if they keep persisting me, then I'm like, okay, okay, I have to make this, I have to make it. And so then, but it's also a very collaborative practice. Like I work with so many people who teach me things, and I take classes and I collaborate with a lot of people with so many different skills, so it's more than just myself, I would say, in a lot of ways.
Well, I guess, people often think of art is, so singular or so solo, alone. And what I'm getting from you is not necessarily. Can be very collaborative. People working together, like you
Mhm.
said, all these different, facets of, with all the studying that you're doing or the work that you're always in process, aren't you?
Always reading,
Really?
writing, thinking, talking to people. Yeah, I think it's part of what's fun for me is that I get to work with so many people. Like another project was I won a grant to buy a
Yeah.
concrete mixer truck. And then I converted it into a musical instrument. So when the barrel spins, it has tines that pluck like a music box below it, and it plays a song as it goes. But for that one, I had to partner with people who design musical instruments, and they helped me figure out how to do it. And then I worked with a welder on site and welded every node. It was like almost 300 nodes onto this barrel. And then I worked with a luthier, and we built a box that's like a huge oversized kind of thumb piano that went below it. So, I mean, and then the song is written by a friend of mine, Helado Negro. And so I had to work with him on the song. So it's like a lot of really cool, interesting, different components of learning how to make it.
Wow. So that to me is what I'm really seeing with you, and I wouldn't have known this, until I'm hearing all of this, is that you're always in process. It isn't like, okay, I've done it, I painted my picture, I'm finished, or whatever I've done, it's over. It sounds, are you always like you're pushing to get to maybe another level, and you don't even know what that level might be, or what might come of the
Yeah.
process. You're in process a lot. So that
Yeah.
makes you very open, not like you have an idea and that's it, right? And you're just going to do that. You're listening to other people and collaborating.
Mhm. I
Is it?
feel like I'm always learning constantly.
You're learning, and in a way, you're helping others to learn, aren't you, with these issues? I mean, I know too. I wanted to just mention also your work with Lotus House.
Hmm.
And from what you told me, that was a beautiful experience, working with women who were homeless, had been homeless. And you tell us your story of you going there and what you did and everything.
So yeah, I started working with the Lotus House over 10 years ago now.
Mm, mm,
And I became friends with Constance
uh,
Collins, who's
something.
the director and is like a complete visionary with her idea about the Lotus House. Like the Lotus House is a shelter here in Overtown. It's, some say, the best shelter in the country. And it's because they have so many different ways of helping
Mm.
people, like wraparound services from like mental health counselors to like dental care to getting people on career paths to job training programs. I mean, like, but then they also have like this really holistic approach, like through yoga. They had somebody coming to do acupuncture. They had a whole, so like lots of different things. And so I started working there, teaching classes, helping like with art therapy. Because what you learn when you're homeless is how to become invisible. And so I think art is a tool to help people like learn about themselves and like be proud of their identity and find their voice. And so I taught creative writing classes and photography. And then at one point went to Constance and I was like, I have this idea and I want to live at the shelter for 1 month. And I
Well,
was like, I really want to learn about what it means to be homeless. Like, and so we called it like an artist in residency program. So
that's great.
I lived there. I had, like curfew and chores and all of the other requirements that somebody would have while they're there. And then I taught art every single day, in all different ways while I was there. My whole goal was to kind of increase the artistic kind of atmosphere, I would
Mm.
say, of the shelter. But while I was there, I realized really quickly, like, I'll never know what it's like to be homeless. Like, I realized talking to people that it was almost like they had just run out of options. And that's how you end up like that. It's not just like you're born like that. Well, I mean, there are, obviously a lot of pregnant women at the shelter, but it was like my roommate at the time, like, she had a full house and a job and a husband and all these things. And then her husband passed away. And then she got into a car accident. And then she was given this really strong medication and then she became addicted to that. And it was just like one thing after the next, that ended up where she just found herself without a place to live. And so I realized, I was like, I'll actually never know what that feels like. I still feel like I have so many people I can call. And so it was like also just really trying to help as much as I could while I was there was the goal.
So to me, again, your whole personality is about, helping and giving, because everything that you seem to, comes into your life, you want to help, you want to do good, right? So many people have become so pessimistic. And I'm wondering, they just feel, I mean, I talk to people and they go, look, there's nothing I can really do. The world is terrible, or,
Yeah.
what can I do? And whatever I do isn't going to really make a big difference kind of attitude. So I'll just go, I don't want to say it like this, but on my way playing sports or traveling, and all those things are fine, but kind of a lot of people have lost hope right now and are very fearful. So I'm wondering, I don't get that feeling with you. I get the feeling that you, no matter what's going on, you're there to help.
It ebbs and flows, I would say too. I mean, there
Yeah,
are moments
sure,
in time
sure.
where I read the news and I'm like, this is so overwhelming. Like, why are all these things happening? But there are different ways to help. I mean, one thing I do is just, I sometimes I'll just go into like if I get so overwhelmed, I'll just go into the dark room and just disappear for a week printing. Like, that's like I think for my own mental health, but then I'm like, no, you have to get back out there. You have to go protest. You have to go fundraise. You should go volunteer and teach. You
Mm,
should do whatever it is you can do.
mm. That's it. That's the key, isn't it? Whatever it is you can do, not to think you got to do something so gigantic and that you just change the whole world. But
Yeah, it's
do you
different.
meditate now? You have a meditation practice, I think that you said. So
Hmm.
I was wondering how that's helped you. And we're on a spiritual website, so
Yeah.
hear just what your practice is and how it has helped you.
Oh, I mean, meditation has radically changed my life. I started going to Shivananda Ashram.
Mhm.
Uh, when I lived in New York City, I was like a stressed out New Yorker like everyone else. And I heard about this wonderful place called Shivananda, and I went and took like the bus from Port Authority and went over there. And it was just like there, it's you meditate twice a day and you do yoga, and like everything started getting better in my life at that point. And then um I will say last year I got trained in transcendental meditation,
Mm,
and TM is great. I do it now twice a day, 20 minutes twice a
good for
day.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of deepened my meditation practice.
Mm.
But, it always seems like the thing that you cut when you're really busy meditating, but then it's the thing you need the most to help you figure out how to do everything you need to do.
That's it, isn't it? It's so easy to say, oh, I'm too busy. I got to do this. I got to cook dinner. You have two children, right? They want your attention. And then at the end of the day, it's like there's no time, but you make time.
Yeah.
for, that it's the inner work, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And
I
getting
mean,
rid of,
yeah.
and I mean, I'm just thinking about this is that all that you do with all your activities, are really, really important. But if you get too caught up in what's going on out there or, what you're doing, you're
Hmm.
not being, and you can lose that sense of well-being, right? Unless you continue your practice.
Yeah, and you can definitely lose yourself. I've lost myself in some of these causes to an extreme, but then
Yeah.
um yeah, it comes back to meditating and taking care of yourself so you don't burn out and you can keep doing the work.
Well, what I'm seeing again with you is you take care of yourself so that you can take care of others out there. And I'm sure that you have, um, you know, uh, changed people's lives. And it might be through a piece of art of your work, or it might just be a little discussion you have wherever you are. People want to
Mhm.
know about what you do, right? And so we really shouldn't feel pessimistic. I mean, we have to feel a little pessimistic about things going on, but we shouldn't let it get to us, right?
Well, I think the pessimism or the rage is good. It
Yeah, okay, I
helps
understand. Yeah,
you
yeah,
to take productive steps
sure. We can't
away.
just say everything is fine and dandy and everything is great and no, but
I don't know. It
is
goes back
the
and forth.
helping.
I think it's so individual, maybe, depends how. But I will say, I mean, it's not all selfless. Like I love making art, like
Hmm.
I do it for myself. Like I really, really love it. But then I love researching, but then I also love conversations with people where they feel like generative, like everyone's like learning, I'm learning, they're learning, and then hopefully the art functions like a portal almost, like where it'll affect somebody, and then maybe they'll go and donate or like contribute or volunteer or join a board, like this sort of intangible metric where it's, keeps moving and growing like a generative kind of force.
Beautiful. So it's not like you're trying to convert, but you're just exposing people to these ideas, is what you're doing, right? Of
Yeah.
inner peace and spirituality and silence. And if, people hear that you do it, that can have an effect on them, right? Yeah. So I'm going to ask you one more question. What do you
Mm.
envision for Miami? What do you think you as an artist or collaborating with a lot of artists, or we can all do, even if we're not artists? Um, what do you think? What do you envision that could happen in Miami that we could really maybe create something even, you know, that's new and improved the city?
Good question. Well, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Turning the interview around. I like that. I feel more and more people reaching more and more people with this message of what we're talking about, that we can all do something, not necessarily go stay in the homeless shelter, but go help people in the homeless shelter. And I think it has to be like just something that becomes part of our life
Yeah.
and it becomes almost like our inner mantra. And I think that's could create change. And there's a lot of people doing, I'm amazed at how many people are doing really good things now in South Florida. And I don't think that I knew about all these things years ago. There's like kind of a core group of people that are kind of spreading these types of messages and this kind of, so I think just to keep going and keep
Mhm.
exposing people to this. And you're a mic. You people listen to you, right? I mean, maybe wouldn't have listened to you in the past with the award and the recognition. And so whatever you say makes a difference. But you don't have to be like a person. Anybody can do it. I mean, not create the art, of course, but anybody could spread messages, really, in the sense of positive change and peace and love. And it sounds so simple, but yet it does work, doesn't it? I mean,
Mhm.
changing people one person at a time, that's it. And you're not converting them. You're just, sometimes people ask me, they say, are you trying to convert me? And I go, no, you are what you are. I don't convert. We just spread these messages and they're for everyone. It's not one religion or one group or anything like that. So
Totally agree.
it's a pleasure getting to interview you. I don't call it an interview, I call it like a chat,
Yeah.
a conversation, just a beautiful conversation. And yeah, what I remember about you was when I called you a while back, your enthusiasm on the phone
Mhm.
even, or however, it was like there was an enthusiasm that you had. And I thought, God, this is, you're really special. And I could see that
Oh.
you're being used by somewhere, uh,
Mhm.
to really, step up. But you've already stepped up. Not that, you have to do more and more, but you will do more and more to help people. Because this is the time, right? Right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything else you'd like
Yeah.
to say to add, but this has been a pleasure getting to
Oh, the
talk with
pleasure's all mine. Thank you so, so much, Meredith. I really
uh
speaking with you every time.
I know we
So thank
really, I love this
you.
connection.
And
Connection.
yes, thank you very, very much. Inspiring me to go meditate again now and get
Yeah, I'm
back to
getting inspired by hearing
work.
you. I need to go meditate more now too, right? Instead of I got to do this, I got to do that, right? I want to also thank Mita, our technical director. And she actually came back from India. She was there for a while, and we missed her terribly because she's one of the people that helps keep things going at our amazing center. We have a very special center. I would say amazing because of the teachings, but also the people that show up, and sometimes they don't even know why they show up. Someone told them to go. And I think that's happening more and more with people going to things that they feel can help them in their lives and everything. So even just going to one of your exhibitions, and you have one right now going on.
Oh, I do. Please come
Yeah, I'm
visit.
gonna go. I meant to go this week, but I'm about to travel and I just couldn't, but I will. I'll go there. Yeah.
Just let me know. And
Yeah.
everyone's invited. It's at a gallery here in Miami. It's called Piero
Piero. Yeah.
Figari Gallery. And it's a beautiful space. And it's
Beautiful.
a boat that was used by immigrants. And it really celebrates, the role of immigrants in our country.
And this is your show that's,
Mhm.
and how long is it going to be going on for?
Till May 2nd.
Oh, okay. So there's some time for people to see
Mhm.
it. This has been a pleasure. And as
Oh,
we always end saying, thank you so much, but Om Shanti. I am
oh,
peace. Yeah.
thank
Thanks
you
a
very
lot.
much.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.